Well, my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. Got a good video for you today, I think, that you'll enjoy. I just released a video just moments ago on the old school way of changing a tire and, fixing a tire, taking it off the wheel and all that. And, in case there's confusion about that, things don't always happen in the exact order and in the exact, it's like being a Monday morning quarterback. You can see for sure what you should do when you see it on video. Well, when I started making that video on fixing those tires, I didn't know they were as bad as they were. I thought I was going to be able to fix them up good enough that it would be, you could sell the trailer with those tires on it and then just tell somebody that you need to change these tires right away. That's where I was headed when I started fixing them. Well, as I got into it more, it's obvious that those tires have to be replaced. So people go, well, why did you even bother? Why didn't you just take them to the store? Well, it's because I didn't know it was going to be that bad. You don't know what you don't know till you don't know it. So anyway, that's the reason. But I thought, well, I've already made the video. I might as well put it out, because it might be helpful to somebody on how to break a tire down. Because a lot of people don't have a clue about anything. So there you go. I just did it. And you can watch it or choose not to. It's your business. Anyway, have you guys started it's been going on a long time, but I mean, have you, it's exponentially worse. Have you noticed how much AI generated crud is on everything now? I mean, like on Facebook, as an example, I don't get on Facebook very much at all, but about a third of the stuff you see on Facebook now is AI generated. I hope you're realizing that. It's not real. It looks real. Like crazy stuff. This was on YouTube that I just saw this moments ago, just before we went live. And I mean, like 15 seconds before we went live. There's this. It looks like it's a ride. It looks like it's in China, or I don't even know where. I couldn't tell. The people were too far away, but it reminded me of like a mountainside in China or Japan or someplace. And this ride is swinging out over the edge of the mountain like this, and it's swinging, and all these people are on this ride, and all of a sudden it swings out this way, and then the whole thing just tips over and falls down this cliff, and they're screaming and everything, and I'm 99% sure that it's totally AI. I don't think it's real at all. But it's going to get scary. You're going to not be able to tell anything that's real and not real. Just understand that and assume it's fake unless you know different. I mean, seriously, that's the only way you can really approach everything that's going to happen from now on your computer, on your phone, everything. Assume it's a fake and then prove it's real. That's a word to the wise, because that's the way it's going to happen from now on. Well, here's my little video I put together for this morning. It's a little longer than average. I think it's about 9 or 10 minutes long, but I think you'll like it. Well, my friends, someone reminded me in this afternoon's vlog, I should say. I always get it confused. Anyway, someone reminded me to check on this caulk saver to see if it worked. Well, this barely has anything in it, so if this worked, it saved a tiny amount, about like that much, but that's even better test, I think. Now, it did split out the thing here. I must have spun it in too far, and that might have been its downfall. Let me get my hand free here so we can unscrew this on camera. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put this in here first, and then see if it actually squeezes anything out. I'll just squeeze it up like that. Okay, it's right on the edge of getting tight here. So let's undo this and let's see if the caulk is still soft or is it hard. Yeah, it's hard, I think. Well, it's coming out. I'll be darned. It actually is coming out soft. And I have a use for this, so I'm going to go use it. Darn it. I don't want to lose it, but come with me real quick. I'm working on putting the new solar thing on the top of my Ranger, and I'm going to put it on there with, well, with this board, and I think the caulk is going to be the thing that's going to seal it. Of course, now I can't get it to go. There it goes. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, nothing's ever simple. Trying to do everything with one hand. It's brown and the roof is black, but my colorblind eyes won't be able to tell the difference. So you guys might not want to look at it. Just putting a lot of, might as well use all this up because it ain't much of it left. I take it back. Might be able to use it on the other one if I still have some left. But that actually, the caulk saver actually surprised me. It did actually work, and there was nothing hard came out. Nothing hard came out at all. It was all soft. So from that standpoint, it worked. Now let's put this up here on top of the roof. Gee whiz. I thought the ladder was where it was supposed to be, but obviously not. Oh my goodness. There's nothing simple when I do it. Like nothing. So we're going to put that right there, and hopefully that will stay there. This big solar panel will attach to that, and it'll attach in the back also. I'm going to pull this forward just a little bit. I think I've got it straight, but there's no good way to tell. I'm just lining it up with this little indention here a little bit. Just trying to get it as close to straight as I can get it. And I think I'll just let the caulk get hard now. I'll go ahead and get this one in place in the back end, and then I'll finish this in the morning. Okay, I think we've got her ready to go, and we'll just let her sit still overnight. I found those two jacks were handy, and so I just set them on each end of that back stick, and I got this heavy weight on the front of this one. Those are, you know, heavy enough to keep the caulk still, and I think the caulk will stick it in place. I've already run the wire down through here and under, and here is the other end of the wire. All right, so basically we just connect these 2 points up, and isn't that funny? Because a while ago when I did that, the lights came on. Now, of course, on camera, it's not doing that. Oh, I know why it's not working. I've got the solar panel covered with that white paper up there, because otherwise it would be working off that light. That's why it's not working. And that's okay. It doesn't need to work. I just was going to show you, but we'll show you tomorrow once we get the rest of the connections made. Well, my friends, it's the next morning, and hopefully the caulk has set up and I can take these weights off. Now I can position this, drill through, and put some bolts through this to hold it, and that'll hold everything in place really well. Probably didn't really have to have the caulk, but I think it's a good idea overall. Okay, we're up on top of the Ranger now, and I've got these screws, and I used these on the previous solar panel, and they worked well. They're stainless steel type screw. So I'm just gonna drill through all of this now. And then I can run the bolt down through. I've got a washer on this. We'll put wing nuts on the inside. So now we will go down and put the wing nuts on. Well, you can see that that's completely hooked up now. Everything's connected down here as well, but this is flashing like crazy. On camera, I don't even think you can see it. Yeah, it's flashing like crazy. It's flashing even faster than it shows on screen. I don't get why that's doing that. Guess I'll just have to get the instructions and see what's causing that. Maybe because it's indoors here. Maybe that LED light's not enough to make it work. I'll drive it outside and see if that changes anything. Well, I've got her parked outside now, and that seems to have been the issue. It's not flashing now. Of course, now it might be flashing on the camera screen because most LED things flash. But looks pretty good. It says it's flashing at 75%, and it's on AGM, which is correct. That's the kind of battery we have. It's flashing at 75%. I'm curious to see if that will go up to 100% if we leave it out here in the sun. We'll find out, won't we? We'll come back in a little while. Well, my friends, I would say it's been 15 to 20 minutes, and it was flashing on 75. Guess what? Now it's flashing on 100. Can you see that? Flashing on 100. So that's pretty good. I'm impressed, especially with 2 batteries. I like that. This, for the record, is a 50-watt solar charger. So that's pretty good. You know, most of them are a lot less than that. The one I had before was a 25, and that was pretty good also. But I'm real happy with this. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you. So I'm thinking about putting that video out as a separate little video also, because people don't watch the vlogs, you know, unless they're you guys. So I'm thinking about putting that out as a separate little video also, and I may do that. I don't know. May even run it out there yet today. Let's see, a couple things. I had a couple things in mind while that was going on. Now I can't think of them. Oh, well, first of all, that was all AI generated. None of that was real. No, actually, seriously, about the AI stuff, really just assume, especially if it's really outrageous, if it's really like, I don't know, like super catastrophic. Super catastrophic is a good one because people are trying to, you know, they're trying to get views on like YouTube and whatever, and so they make something on AI that is just horrendous, you know, like that ride swinging and with all those people on it, and then the whole thing just flying over the edge of the mountain. You know, just assume it's not real, and then verify it, you know, because it's probably not real, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference on anything. You know, I saw another one yesterday. It was Trump pushing Biden in a wheelchair, and then of course you know where that's going. He's going to push him off a, you know, like a cliff or something. He pushes him down a hill, you know, and you know it's AI generated. I mean, it didn't look 100% real to me, but it was pretty close. You know, and you know, because of the situation in that particular case, that you know it's made up. You know, you just know it is. But the point is, it's going to get even better and better and better at faking itself to the point where you won't be able to tell at all. You won't be able to tell at all. So just assume just assume it's a fake. Just assume that. All right, in terms of the play along this evening, here's the songs I already have on the list, and probably not going to take any more requests because I'll never get through all these. I've got Build My Mansion by Gene Watson. I've already ran through that one time, and I think I can do that. That one fits me pretty well. Colleen Malone is a tune I was wanting to do. Kentucky Waltz was asked for last week, and I couldn't remember it, but I have it down now, I think. Although it's super high in the key that I can play it in. And normally you sing them in the key and then you play it in a different key. But this one I'm going to sing it in the key I play it in. And then I have the song, I Just Rent It From God, which I noticed, who was it in the comments I was reading while that was playing? Michael 2X says, I just joined you in retirement on June 26th. Well, June 26th was also our 49th wedding anniversary, by the way. But anyway, so he said to do the retirement song. So that is the retirement song, I Just Rent It From God. And then somebody asked for Brother John, so I've got that one down. Vine Covered Church, Dottie asked for, and she also asked for Build My Mansion. So what Daddy asked for, Dottie gets. Crying My Heart Out Over You, someone asked for, and I know that tune. I haven't done it in years, but I'm going to brush up on that one and do that one. And then somebody asked for a Merle tune, so I'm going to do Mama Tried. And then somebody asked for somebody asked for One Drop of Water by Ralph Stanley. That one I think will fit me okay, but I'm just going to put that one off till maybe next week. Jericho Road was asked for, but honestly, that one doesn't really fit me. I tried a couple of versions of that one, and I'm not sure I can get through that one. It just doesn't fit. It's a good song, just doesn't fit me. It's got to fit the singer and got to fit the musician, But anyway, so those are the ones I'm going to do. And that's like 8 tunes already, so I don't plan to take any more requests unless it's just too good to refuse. So let's go through the comments and see who's here and what's going on. Brian Byler says, Happy Thursday. Rod Wentler's there. And Joe Nigan. And then we've got Bill Rhodes says hello. Dottie's there. B.H. Ringer. David Thorpe says, Howdy all. I went to the pet shop to get a goldfish. The salesman asked if I wanted an aquarium. I told him that I didn't care what sign it was born under. Again, I can't read fast enough to put it all together, but I get it. Don't know I don't care what sign it was born under. There you go. Ronald Todd, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Bank of New Jersey. And then Dottie says she's praying for everybody. Thank you, Dottie. And let's see. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, Dottie says. I didn't know he passed away. Sure it's not AI. That's kind of sad. I never followed him or anything, but I know who he was. Let's see. He was that big green guy, right? No, I'm just kidding. I know that's not who it was. Anyway, Donald Matthews, rest in peace, Chuck Mangalone. I don't know that. Mangeloni, I guess. I've heard that name, I think, but I don't know who that is. David Tharp, I once worked at the foundry. My job was to pound the squeal out of the pig iron. That's a good way of putting it. That's pretty much what you would be doing, probably. Let's see. Cup of Cool, congrats on 111,000 subscribers. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. You could reach 1 million really fast if you show us your footage of Bigfoot stuck in quicksand. Bigfoot stuck in quicksand. Yeah, you could do that so easily now with AI. All you really have to do is get one of those AI programs and say, and you just talk to those programs just like we're having this conversation right now. It's that simple. You just say to the program, you just say, AI, draw me or make me a movie of Bigfoot getting stuck in quicksand, and I promise you it'll do it. It'll just make a movie of Bigfoot being stuck in quicksand. That's all you have to do. It's that simple. That's why you're going to see so much of this. It's that simple. Believe it or not, it is that simple. It's gotten crazy. It's getting Elon Musk is turning loose a new version of his AI, which is apparently, at least according to him, of course, he's a little biased, but according to him, it's the smartest AI in the world. It's Glock, that's not Grok, Grok. I think it's version 5 now, I think he's up to. And he's, I'd get this, I'll get the statistics screwed up on this, but it's basically the smartest AI in the world. It can ace any test you give it. It can just ace it with the highest, in every field. I mean, like in, whether you're talking science or math or, anything. English, doesn't matter what the field is. It can ace any test you give it, according to Elon Musk, of course, who is biased, obviously. But the point is that it's all going that way. And I mean, it's good and bad. See, they can, the good is, and this is just as true as the rest of it, is the negative is so bad, the positive is so good. And that, after they get a little further into this, they'll be able to say, make up a chemical compound that will do X, Y, Z, like will cure this particular disease if these things are true. And it'll be able to do that. So it's just as good as it is bad. It's just that we need some way to control the bad. And the only way you can control it right now is you control it by saying it's fake. That's fake. And it's fake. And don't buy into it until you know it's true. And how are you going to know? It's going to be tough, but that's my point. And I'm seriously telling you, this is really here now. So be sure you understand what I'm saying, because it is that way. After we went live, Bill Mumbo says, hi, you folks. Michael 2X says he joined us in retirement. So cool. Congratulations to you. And if I remember, I'll dedicate that song to you tonight. But, well, yeah, right. Sure I will. Let's see. David Tharp says, nowadays, Lance is relatively uncommon name, but back in the medieval times, people were named Lance a lot. You're going pretty far, David. You're going way out on those limbs these days. Let's see. Steve Mays, I've changed tires using sledgehammer and 2 tire irons. Lots of work. Yeah. I've used actual splitting wedges like you split firewood with, driving those down around the bead to break the bead. Where that tool that I have, that tool cost $35. When I bought it, it's probably higher than that now because I bought it 15 years ago. I don't know. But anyway, I paid $35 for that tool at Harbor Freight, that thing that breaks the tires down and that you spin it around on, and it clamps the tire in there. Well, anyway, before that, the old timers would literally do just what you're saying. Take a sledgehammer, take a splitting wedge, and put it down right at the bead, next to the wheel. The center part is the wheel, and then you got your tire. And where they meet is called the bead. And you would take that wedge and stick it down in that crack and hit it with a sledgehammer to drive that bead off. A lot of people nowadays that are doing their own tire work use like a skid steer or something and push it down. But quite honestly, that $35 rig from Harbor Freight actually does it easier than using a skid steer. How do I know that? Because I use my skid steer to do it also. And it actually works as easy or easier than the skid steer does. Anyway, it's just side conversation there. Bill Mumbo, today I've been listening to 60s and 70s compilation albums, such memories. Fab Man, yep, cool. BH Ringer, oops, it scrolled on me. Now I got to find it again. Yeah. Okay, I see it. BH Ringer says, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel, and it's free. Thank you very much. I hope you'll do that. Taylor's One Stop says, you are real? With a question mark? No, this is totally AI. There's nobody could be this stupid. Robert Fraley, you're going to have to prove you are real. Yep. Bill Mumbo, you must be tired after wrestling those trailer wheels. Ah, shoot. I could do that in my sleep. In fact, I do that kind of stuff in my sleep. That's the problem. That's why I don't sleep well. Wavy gravy. Laws need to be passed. Strictly require content providers to clearly state that the content is purely AI and therefore fictional. Yeah, I agree with that. But how are you going to get that to fly? I mean, any knucklehead with a half a brain can put one out there. And how are you going to enforce it, even if you make the law? You know, that's what and again, I don't want to get off on, a political situation like the gun control situation. But that's my point about that is you can pass all the laws you want. The bad guys don't follow the laws. They don't give a rip about your laws, So you can pass 1,900 more laws about guns if you want to, but any knucklehead with a half a brain gets a gun, he can go shoot somebody, whether you got a law about it or not, And that's the same way with this thing with the AI. You can pass all the laws you want, but there's millions of people out there, and any one of them can put out something. And how are you going to enforce it? That's my point, is the courts couldn't handle it all. There's no way. So there's that. It's not going to get better, guys. I'm not necessarily saying it's a doomsday thing. I'm just saying be very aware and just assume it's fake unless you know different. Bob Hamby, most people has no question idea of what AI is capable of doing, and the next generation of AI with the new quantum computer generated AI will make the AI we have now. Yeah, that's true. Every few years, it more than doubles in capacity. And right now, it's already scary. But and when I say that it can take and make a new chemical compound that they've never even thought of, it can do that. It can already do that to some degree. And that's what these drug companies are going to be doing. They're going to be using AI to create new drugs for all kinds of things. They'll make billions. They'll kill hundreds of thousands of people in the process, but they don't care because they're making billions and they're getting sued for millions. Takes 1,000 million to make $1 billion. Do you see the math there? They don't give a rip. And it's coming. Get ready. It's coming. In fact, it's pretty much here. David Tharp, don't worry about artificial intelligence. I'm more worried about all the real idiocy. Yeah, I agree. We got that too. Let's see. Mike's asking about Dottie's grandson. I'm curious about that myself. Bill Mumbo, there are loads of AI stories of revenge and betrayal filling up YouTube, irritating. I only interact with my friends and family on Facebook and WhatsApp. Yeah, Facebook is really bad now. I mean, it's really bad for AI. Every third one you look at is AI. Don't believe all that stuff you're seeing out there. It's mostly AI. I was out there just the other day, just scrolling down through a bunch of them, and you can just tell they're AI. Don't be gullible. Again, I know I know a lot of people just aren't like really computer illiterate on this kind of stuff, but it is to the point now where they can just talk to the program and just say what they want. Like they can even say, write me a song about XYZ, and it'll write them a song about XYZ and put a melody to it and everything. They just talk to it like it's a normal conversation, and it does. Yeah, and it's getting smarter all the time. It's scary, man. It really is getting scary. Let's see. David Tharp says, It's scary, or it's sad how Wile E. Coyote is remembered for his violence and not for his brilliant, realistic paintings of tunnels. Yeah, he was an artist, wasn't he? Hugh O'Connor. I have never come across any stainless steel screws or other items that haven't rusted in very short space of time. I now look for galvanized. I'll be darned. I've had good luck with stainless steel. In fact, I'm kind of the exact opposite of that. I don't have real good luck with galvanized. It seems like the galvanized comes off and they rust through. That's been my luck. Let's see. Sidecar Bob, there is the AI that the public has access to closer to genuine stupidity than artificial intelligence, and there is the stuff that they use to manipulate things behind the scenes. Well, that's true too, but even what you're calling the stupid AI is not stupid anymore. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. David Tharp, have you clicked the like button? Please do. And while you're at it, share the RSW videos with others. Well, thank you, David, for saying that. And I would appreciate y'all doing that too. If you like on that tire thing, I mean, I know there's going to be very few people that need to see that. But if you know somebody that's struggling with something like that, send it to them. That kind of thing. Hill O'Connor, can Grok pass the Turing test? I can barely remember what the Turing test is. I've seen it, but I can't recall exactly what that is. But I heard something the other day, and I want to say yes, it can. I know that sounds crazy, but I kind of think maybe I've gotten it confused with something else that I was hearing. But it's kind of crazy. I don't even know how to explain it and put it in terms that make sense to anybody. It's exponential every day. It's going at such a rate that, yeah, it's got potential to do such good in the world. It really does. But it's also got potential to do such bad. And it's hard to control the bad because there's going to be people exploiting that because there's just a lot of scumbags in the world. I don't know. It's terrible. But according to Elon, there's a video out on YouTube about the new Grok with Elon. If you just if you just Google that, it'll blow your mind when you start watching what he's saying about that. I watched it a week or two ago. I don't remember the details now because I've watched so much other stuff. But anyway, Simon Jardine, when you go out to town, Jerry, are you armed at the hip? Just curious. Not generally, no. No, I don't carry anything with me. No. Just my guns, man. Just my guns. No, I don't have anything in my car, and I don't carry generally. Let's see. Because I'm such a good shot, I'm afraid I would use it. Chip Wood. Howdy, Jerry and all. Thanks for the cock plug update. I have a lot of water balloons left over unused. I'll be a lifetime using them for caulk caps. Yeah. Well, I had never thought of using a balloon for a caulk cap, but I guess it would work. So all the crazies are dying off. Okay. Let's see. David Tharp, ask Grok what it thinks about hide glue. I guarantee if you ask AI which is better, it's going to tell you tight bonds, hands down, better. Let's see. Michael 2X, the Rosa Meister is the best. Thanks for all the great content. I always Makes my day. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Bill Mumbo, Simon, Jerry, and Jerry's only usually armed at the shoulders. Like I said, all I got to carry is my guns, man. Just my guns. That's all I need. Joe, electrodes removed from my back yesterday. Maybe a permanent op in the future. Still considering. Whew, boy, I feel for you, Joe. Man, yeah, that back stuff and oh my gosh, that's horrible. I just pray for you, man. I hope it works really good. Sidecar Bob says, if you're careful and have a second vehicle, you can break the bead by driving over it. Yeah, that's the same thing as using like a skid steer to push it down with the bucket or whatever. Yeah, people do that too. And I've done that too, but it's been years ago that I did that, where I drove over it and knocked it down. Yeah, back before I had my $35 tool, I did all those kinds of things. I don't do that anymore because I got a $35 tool. Seriously, it's so cheap that it's like, I should have had this my whole life. And it's such an easy thing to use. It really is, if you know how to use it. Bill Webb, got busy on a mandolin, almost missed the vlog. Good afternoon. Well, glad you're here. Steve Mays, Jerry is truly AI, actual individual. Well, I don't know. Some people wouldn't classify me as an individual. Let's see. Wavy Gravy, AI will never take over managers' jobs. Why? Because AI was never designed to be completely useless. Yeah, there you go. It's scrolling on me again. Let's see. Chip Woods, AI reminds me of the stories I heard about original broadcast of War of Worlds by Orson Welles. Yeah, it's kind of sort of like that, except that would, like the Orson Welles thing would be the old school version of this, you know, where you really believe it, but it's not real. And now you not only hear it and think it's real, but now you can see it and it looks real. There's the difference. It's an upscaled version of that. Mike Bennett, let's see, no, there's no question marks. I'm skipping the ones that don't have question marks if I can here. Ronald Todd, if you don't believe what Jerry said about the pharmaceutical companies, just watch the sales series called Goliath featuring Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, well, like I said about that, I'm not making that up. I was in a meeting. And that's pretty much what they said, almost in those exact words. I mean, the meeting was 30 years ago, so I'm paraphrasing what they said. But they basically said, this drug will make us, X billions of dollars. And we know it's going to kill some people. We know that. But it's worth it to us because we're only going to get sued for X number of millions of dollars. Well, like I said, it takes 1,000 pounds of $1 million to make 1 billion. The math speaks for itself. It's not really that hard to believe it. It's not really that hard to believe it. You know that greed is everywhere, and they don't give a rip if it kills a few people because they're only going to get sued for a few million. That's chicken feed to them. Sad but true. Let's see. Steve Mays, who would have thought the oldest show, Star Trek, was prophetic? Look at all the stuff that we have now that yeah, it's true. And it's going to go way past that. It's going to blow that out of the water before long. Joe, yes, my one medication was reduced from $106 to $6 after I complained. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I tell you. Well, Again, not to be political, I don't give a rip what you think about Trump, whether you like him or you hate him. I don't care. This makes no difference. I'm just telling you what I heard him saying was, and it's in it. I know this without him saying it, but it was fairly recent. I saw him saying this, was that like, and I'm making this up because I don't remember the exact numbers, but like a particular drug was selling for like $1,200 here in the United States, and it was like $80 in Europe. And the pharmaceutical companies here in the United States, and we're paying $1,200 for this one drug, and they're paying $80 for the drug. Or maybe it was the other way around. I can't remember if the pharmaceutical company was over there. I don't remember that part. But the point is that there's that kind of disparity on this stuff. And they just charge what they can charge because, you know, we're a wealthy nation and they make us pay. So at least Trump's working on that kind of stuff, and I'm glad he is because it ain't good. Let's see. Sidecar Bob, if you use stainless steel bolts, remember that the ones you can buy at hardware stores are about equal to grade 2 mild steel. I always go up a size to compensate for that. Well, I don't honestly use stainless steel for anything that is a strength issue. Like, for instance, I use them on that because that's in the weather all the time, but it's not a strength thing, so I don't care about that. But yeah, you're right on that, though. You wouldn't want to use them on something that's going to fly apart and kill somebody, that's for sure. Let's see. Brian Byler, I would be afraid of those guns. You ought to be. David Thorpe, I once woke up from a deep sleep in a panic because I thought I was going to be late for work, but thankfully I was already at work. That's funny. I can't remember that ever happening to me, but I think it could have. Cup of Cool. So if we see you eating... I already know where this is going. If we see you eating lettuce, we should assume it's not real. Boy, that's a fact now right there. That is 100% true for sure. If you see me eating anything green, you know it's AI generated for sure. Well, anyways, guys, I'm going to get off here. Thanks for being here. And seriously think about the AI stuff because it's already thick. It's out there everywhere right now already. It's on AI, I mean, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and I those are the only two platforms I ever get on. I don't know about TikTok and all the other stuff, but I'm assuming it's there too. Well, it's not TikTok anymore, is it? X or something? I don't know what it's called. Doesn't matter. The point is AI is everywhere, and so pay attention and assume it's fake unless you know different. We will see you this evening about 7 o'clock with the play along and hope you'll be there. Take care.